Hello my dear students, welcome to another video session from Karim's Biology. And as you are aware that we are discussing about the lesson heredity and what we have discussed in the previous session. Can you remember? In the previous session, that is in part 7, we have discussed about why Mendel has chosen pea plants rather than choosing any other plants. So I have given reasons, I have given you 4 reasons why Mendel has chosen pea plants. So in this session, we are going to discuss about a very important part of your body. Okay, it would be better to call it as a important part of your cell rather than important part of your body, because it lies within the cell. So our today's session is about a macromolecule, which you can see right on the screen. This is something, I think you have seen this and you are well aware of this one. Okay, by looking at that shape, can you guess what is it? Can you guess? Yes, this is DNA. So in this session, we are going to learn in detail about what is DNA. What is DNA? So this is our session today. And look here, our Earth consists of so many different varieties of living organisms, starting from microorganisms to very big macroorganisms such as whale, which is the biggest animal on this planet, and elephant, which is the biggest and largest animal on this earth. There are variety of animals, reptiles, insects, plants, amphibians, mammals, birds, prokaryotes. Is it not? Like that, so many different types of organisms are there on this planet Earth. And have you ever thought why this much variety was possible? What is behind this much variety among the living organisms? The secret is only one molecule, that is DNA. Plants and animals are made up of building blocks called cells. This is something that you have studied already in your previous classes. You knew that every living organism is made up of building blocks called cells. A cell, and what is a cell? A cell is the structural and functional unit of an organism. Okay, any organism's structure consists of cells, millions of cells together. They form the tissues, and the tissues form the organs form the organ systems, and altogether all the organ systems form a living organisms. You have studied. So the building, ultimately the structural unit of an organism is a cell. Not only structural, but the cell is also considered as the functional unit of an organism. And what do you mean by functional unit? The living the functions, all the functions that are carried out by living organisms are carried out at the cellular level. Okay, and you have studied in your previous classes that cell contains an important part. What is it? The important part is, most important part within the cell is nucleus, and you already know the nickname of nucleus. The nucleus is nicknamed as brain of the cell. And why is it called brain of the cell? You knew that nucleus is the control center for all the biochemical activities that are occurring in the cell. Okay, if you look at a cell, at the middle of the cell you can see cytoplasm. You can see actually cytoplasm, jelly-like substance, and at the middle of the cytoplasm you can see a large darkly stained body called nucleus. And this nucleus is called brain of the cell because it controls all other cell organelles such as mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, everything, Golgi complex, all other cell organelles are under direct control of this nucleus. That's why it is called brain of the cell. But what is that making this nucleus special so that it is able to control all the other cell organelles in the cell? Let's find out. Look at this. When you talk about cells, we generally remember there are 2 types of cells, eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. And I hope that you can remember the difference very well. Eukaryotic cells are the cells that consist of a well-defined nucleus. Can you see here? This orange colored layer is the nuclear membrane, and this blue colored part here in the middle is the nucleoplasm, and this is the nucleolus. And I hope that you remember these parts. Nucleus, this is the nucleus. And whereas in prokaryotes, a well-defined nucleus is absent. I am saying that in prokaryotes, a well-defined nucleus is absent. See, here there is well-defined nucleus, but there is no well-defined nucleus, but you can see something at the middle which is just appearing like a nucleus, isn't it? So this is not nucleus, this is the nucleoid. Okay, the difference between the nucleus and nucleoid, you knew that nucleus is surrounded by nuclear membrane, whereas in prokaryotes the DNA or the genetic material is freely suspended in the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, so what do you find in eukaryotes at the middle of the nucleus? And so at the middle of the nucleus there lies an important, a very important macromolecule called DNA. So this is where, my dear students, you can find DNA. In case of eukaryotes, DNA is present in the nucleus, whereas in prokaryotes, DNA is freely suspended in the cytoplasm. But commonly, both eukaryotes and prokaryotes, they consist of these very important molecules called DNA. And in fact, the control power of this nucleus over other cell organelle is because of this DNA. So the DNA is the master molecule that is behind this power that this nucleus got over other cell organelles. Okay, and what do you see inside a nucleus? Just now I told you that within the nucleus you can find a macromolecule which is our genetic material called DNA. Look here, it is the clear representation of where nucleus is present. So this is a eukaryotic cell. Within the eukaryotic cell there is nucleus. Within the nucleus, during the time of cell division, you can find some rod-like structures called chromosomes, and the chromosomes consist of some thread-like material. It composed of some thread-like material. If you pull that thread-like material, it will come in the form of a long thread-like structure which can be pulled out of the chromosome. This long thread-like structure that you can see over here is called DNA. Okay, and if you expand the DNA, if you take a small segment and expand it, it will be something, it will be appearing something like this. Okay, so this is DNA. Now I think that you understood where DNA is located, and you can see there are some there is a segment of DNA here which is called gene. About this I will be discussing in the next session, don't worry. Okay, and how do you define DNA? I said that there is a DNA at the middle of the cell within the nucleus. Then how do you define DNA? What is it? Let us see. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acids. D stands for deoxyribo, N stands for nucleic, A stands for acid. So the full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, and it is more commonly called as DNA. It is commonly known as DNA. And what is DNA? DNA is a complex molecule. I have been keep telling you this for so many times, that it is a complex molecule that contains all of the information necessary to build and maintain an organism. Okay, so there is a big organism here. It is an elephant over here, and this elephant, to build up the body of this entire elephant, including all the organs, tissues and cells and everything, the information or the blueprint lies in the DNA that is present within the cell. Say for example, if you want to construct a building, prior to construction of the building, you will make a blueprint, right? You will make a plan, building plan. According to that blueprint, you will construct that building, right? In the same way, when this type of animals or living organisms are to be born, the body design, that blueprint for this body design, where should be the organ, what is the shape of the organ, what is the size of this organism, everything, the blueprint must be somewhere, right? That blueprint or the information pertaining to the building and maintenance of an organism lies or resides within the DNA present in the nucleus. Okay, that's the importance of nucleus. So what is DNA? DNA is the deoxyribonucleic acid, more commonly called as DNA. It is a complex molecule that contains all of the information necessary to build and maintain an organism. Okay, once again look at this picture, and I insist you to remember this particular animation here, what's going on and how many strands are there. Okay, just remember, because it's going to be helpful to you within a few minutes. Okay, and who discovered the structure of DNA? Can you remember? These two people, they also got Nobel Prize. Who are they? In 1953, the detailed study of DNA was worked out at Cambridge by two remarkable scientists, famous scientists by name Francis H. Crick and James D. Watson. These are the two scientists, Francis H. Crick and James D. Watson. And they discovered that DNA molecule looks like a spherical staircase. In the previous slide, I have told you to remember an animation. Can you remember that? Okay, so look at it once again. They discovered that DNA molecule looks like a spherical staircase. Look at this. Do you know the meaning of staircase? This is appearing like a staircase, but how is it? It is spherical. When you take a staircase and when you twist it, it will appear like that. So that will be the structure of DNA, and they told that the shape of that will be double helical structure, or it is simply called double helix. So when you talk about the shape of DNA, the shape as suggested by Watson and Crick, the shape of the DNA is a double helical structure. So that's why we commonly refer DNA as a DNA double helix. So that's about the discovery of structure of DNA. Then let us see what is there in the DNA. What does it contain? I told you it is a complex molecule. Complex molecule in a sense that there are so many other chemicals involved in the structure of the DNA. Okay, and let us see what are they. The DNA consists of alternate sugar and phosphate groups, and the step which join the framework together are the pairs of chemical compounds called nitrogen bases. Okay, and this entire sentence is a bit confusing, but I will make it easy for you. DNA consists of alternate sugar and phosphate. Do you know the meaning of alternate? Alternate sugar and phosphate. See, look at this. Look at the picture here. Please look at the picture and follow my cursor. Please follow my cursor on the screen. So this particular small round structure is the phosphate. Okay, this is the phosphate, and this structure here over here, this is sugar. This is sugar. And how many corners are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means there are 5 carbons in this sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 carbons in this sugar. So this is a pentose sugar here. So this is phosphate here. Again there is sugar molecule, phosphate molecule, sugar molecule, phosphate molecule, sugar molecule. Follow my pointer, follow my cursor here. Okay, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar. So what's happening? The phosphate molecule and sugar molecule, they are alternating with each other. Suppose if all the phosphate molecules are there, they are continuous. Okay, but see, that's not the case here. There is a phosphate molecule which is alternating with sugar molecule, and like that, how many strands will be there? So this will be forming a single strand of DNA. Okay, and there will be dipeptide bonds between the sugar molecule and phosphate molecule here. Okay, there will be bond between the sugar and phosphate, and these bonds continue and form a long chain of sugar and phosphate, which is called strand. This is a strand of DNA, and like in the same way there will be other strand in which also there is phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, alternately arranged. Okay, so how many strands does it make up? There are 2 strands of alternately arranged phosphate and sugar here. There are 2 strands. So if you look from distance, it will be appearing like that. So these are the 2 strands. These are the 2 strands, and these 2 strands, they form the sugar phosphate backbone. These 2 strands are the backbone of the DNA molecule. And what else is there? Look at that. The sugar molecules, they are attached with, look at this picture over here. The sugar molecules, they are attached with some special compounds here. You see C, G, A, T, G, C, T, A. What are they? They are called nitrogen bases. See, it is given here. They are nitrogen bases. Please follow the cursor on the screen. Okay, these are called nitrogen bases. C stands for cytosine. I will tell you that. Okay, once again you read the definition. DNA consists of alternate sugar and phosphate bonds. I told you alternate sugar and phosphate bonds. Okay, which join framework. This is the framework. This is the framework. This is one strand, and this is another strand which is making the framework or backbone, and they are joined together with the help of nitrogen bases. So this strand here is having nitrogen bases, and this strand also is attached to nitrogen bases. Right, and next what happens is between these nitrogen bases there will be formation of hydrogen bonds. So here there will be triple bond, there is double bond here, triple bond here, double bond here. Can you see that? Okay, the nitrogen bases, they are attached to each other with the help of bonds. These are hydrogen bonds here. Please follow the cursor. Understood? So when the hydrogen bonds are formed, that means that both the strands are now held together. Okay, you cannot separate both the strands now because the sugar is attached to the nitrogen base is attached to other nitrogen base with the help of double bond here, and this nitrogen base is attached to again sugar molecule. Like that, both the strands are now here attached to each other. That is making up the DNA molecule. So it appears something like this. So it appears something like this. Okay, it appears something like this. So this is the DNA strand. How is it appearing? It is just appearing like that of a staircase, isn't it? These are the steps of the staircase. But what I told you, what they have suggested that it is a twisted ladder like structure, and when this ladder like structure is twisted, this is what makes up the DNA molecule. Understood? So this is the structure of DNA molecule. I hope that you clearly understood the concept. Once again I will tell you, DNA consists of sugar. This is the sugar, follow my cursor. This is the sugar phosphate alternately arranged, and one more strand of sugar and phosphate alternately arranged, both of them joined together by nitrogen bases and double and triple bonds. Understood? Yes. Then what does DNA contain? What is there present in the DNA? The nitrogen bases are arranged in a sequence. The sequence of nitrogen bases determines the type of gene in a DNA. Just now I told you that the DNA consists of nitrogen bases. Look at this. So this is the DNA molecule. It consists of nitrogen bases C, A, G, C, T, G, A. Okay, and what is the full form of these things? Look, first one, A stands for adenine. Okay, and G stands for guanine, T stands for thymine, and C stands for cytosine. Understood? Adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. These are the four. For example, here A is there. A stands for adenine. There is G here. G stands for guanine. There is T here. T stands for thymine, and C here. C stands for cytosine. Understood? So these are the four nitrogen bases. The entire DNA is made up of these four basic types of nitrogen bases, which form different combinations and make up the genes. Understand? Okay, and one more thing I told you that these two scientists, Watson and Crick, they got Nobel Prize. Watson and Crick were awarded Nobel Prize jointly with Franklin and Wilkins. These are the two other scientists who had made a remarkable work in the field of molecular biology. So along with these two, because why these two also awarded Nobel Prize along with Watson and Crick means these two scientists also, Franklin and Wilkins also, they have also done a considerable work which helped the other scientists to discover the structure of DNA. Okay, that's about the. Now let's come to the summary. First one is DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And deoxyribonucleic acid is more commonly known as DNA. It is a complex molecule that contains all of the information necessary to build and maintain an organism. The nitrogen bases are arranged in a sequence. I told you, the sequence of nitrogen bases determines the type of gene in a DNA. Okay, any change in DNA sequence lead to variations in a trait. I told you, if in the place of A, if G comes, in the place of T, if A comes, if that kind of changes are there, that may completely change the type of gene and the phenotype also. That may lead to variations. Okay, and Watson and Crick were awarded Nobel Prize jointly with Franklin and Wilkins for their work on DNA. So because they have discovered the structure of DNA. So that's all for today's section. Thank you for watching this video.